Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the PLA podcast. I have an incredible guest here that I've been looking forward to interviewing for so long. And I'm so glad we got, to get on camera today and get this going. She's an incredible individual, and I can't wait to introduce each and every one of you to her. Pri, welcome to the PLA podcast.
Thank you, Dunya. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, it's a true treat. It's my privilege to be able to interview you today, and I'm really looking forward to it. Before we jump into all these amazing, juicy questions, I'd love to formally introduce you to our audience and run them through your story and background. Here we have Priyanka Kodali, born and raised in India, grounded in a loving family and a childhood shaped by encouragement and opportunity. A major influence from life was her mom, who pushed her and her sister into extracurricular activities like sports, music, and travel that enriched their life and experience. One of our core life philosophies is to dive into challenges head first without overthinking the difficulty and trusting you will learn as you go. Her global education path encompasses a bachelor's degree in Dubai and a master's degree in the US, where she met her life partner, her biggest support, and together they've built a beautiful family with two boys. She's a business analyst in IT with experience across multiple industries that have shaped her leadership from learning from a wide range of people and environments, both the uplifting and the challenging moments. How she works is she's a go-getter energy with an open-mindedness, growth-oriented, grounded in continuous learning. And what we'll explore today is her journey across countries and careers, the lessons that shaped her problem-solving and leadership style, and how she navigates today's fast-paced business world. Priyanka, welcome to the PLA podcast.
Thank you, Dunya. That was beautiful introduction. Thank you so much.
It's one of my favorite moments in the PLA podcast because I get to share with you your story.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's different when you hear it, right? Yeah. Definitely had a blessed childhood with wonderful parents.
Oh, it's amazing. And it's a gift that you get to implement their teachings in everything that you do today. It's
So
a
that's
true privilege. Yeah. I'm curious to know,
nice.
if someone had gone back to you, this beautiful young woman that's traveling from Dubai to the US, what do you wish someone had told her?
So there were definitely many challenges. I
Mm,
wouldn't say it was easy. But one thing I wish someone had told me back then was it's totally okay not to have everything figured out.
mm,
Um, because early on, I thought I had to be confident or 100% ready before trying something new. But that wasn't, just true. Because looking back, the confidence always came after
yeah.
I started, not before. And like you mentioned in my introduction, right? My mom always said, just try, don't
Mm,
overthink it.
wow.
And I really wish I had leaned into that mindset, early or sooner, because looking back, most of my growth, be it personal or professional, always came from saying yes
Mhm.
a little before I felt ready, right? And
Yes.
the theme of PLA, start before you're ready,
Mm,
really reinforces that mindset
yeah.
every time I attend a session, right? So I'd like to, that is something that I try to tell my boys, right? Just go try it and then we'll figure it out later.
I love this. And I think so many people listening to this recording right now are probably, having these moments of reflection saying, wait a minute. So many times we think we need the confidence, we need to feel like we're ready and then start and then jump in and get that courage and experience. But really, it's through jumping in when you're not ready, when you're unsure. And it's through that experience that the courage, the confidence, and everything comes. Wow.
That's true. Yeah, that's what I keep telling my husband as well. I'm just my kids. He's the transition from IT to something that he's really passionate about, being a doctor. He's that kind of a person who needs to be confident before jumping in. But being a supportive wife, all the support that I can give, I keep telling him, just go in, learn your lessons because that is really important,
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely. I love this. Start before you're ready.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm all for that.
It's beautiful. And then I want to throw in an extra question because we have the absolute blessing of knowing you and your wonderful husband. And the two of you have done so much investing in yourself and in your personal growth and your development and your learning. And oftentimes in relationships, we have one that's, very committed to personal development and doing all of these experiences and growth and courses, etc. And now we have two of you in the same relationship. And I think that there's something very powerful in that and incredibly valuable. We're still human beings. Everything, we're still growing, and there are beautiful challenges even in the midst of it. How has that experience been of, being in partnership with the two of you committed so much to your growth?
I really feel blessed, Dunya, to be honest. Yesterday we were on a long drive, driving to Cincinnati, and um, we were reflecting on our Sunday session about, and then there were some women asking how can we bring out the supportiveness from our spouses. And I was just reflecting on that with social, and I really feel blessed. I told him that, that being in this personal journey and together makes a huge difference. And that is not just helping our relationship, but also helping us be better parents, better human beings. And I I cannot thank Venkat enough for having reached out to Social about PLA, and for Social to be supportive in this journey. Yeah, I really look forward to every Sunday to learn something new, or to even reflect on something that we already know. And you come in with a different mindset every Sunday, right? And like that quote that Vamsi shares, you come back to the river, you're not the same person, it's not the same water,
Yeah.
right? So
Oh, I love this. Absolutely.
yeah,
I think there's some key elements in what you've shared around partnership and support. And this another invitation in the audience is saying, so often we want a supportive partner, and we may actually not lean into that invitation of saying, how can we be supportive partner ourselves? Because it's a co-created effort, it's a team effort. And I love that you brought in that it actually makes us better parents. Everybody around us benefits when we're on the same team and we're supporting each other. And there's such a gift in recognizing that, highlighting that in our partner, and yeah, and continuing to encourage that between each other. Wow, I love
yeah.
this. So I'm curious to know too. We talked about how the path wasn't always easy, and it was through, actually, it's through the challenges oftentimes that we grow into the people that we are meant to become, to create all the wonderful things we're meant to create in this lifetime. And I find that oftentimes on LinkedIn and on these incredible platforms, it's a little bit of the highlight reel of like, these are the great accomplishments. This is what I'm up to. I'm now working on this project or for this company. And we don't talk enough, I believe, about the true challenges that we've had to move through to be able to learn and grow into the person who can achieve these things. So I'd love to know, Pri, for you, what were those major challenges and how did they help you to grow?
So as a kid, I was always the silent type who
Mm.
was very patient, just observing everyone and everything around me, not really, speaking up. Whereas my sister was the loudest. Um, Growing up, that became my personality and also became a challenge once I stepped into my corporate career. Learning when to speak up
Mm.
was a big challenge for me. And I used to believe that if you worked hard, everything would eventually speak for itself, right? And that sometimes is true, but not always.
Mm.
Um, so, and in my career, I also learned that not every situation is meant to be pushed through, but
Mhm.
some challenges are, how do I put this? More like signals that
Wow.
it's time for you to change or pivot direction, right? So,
Oh,
and
this.
it took me a while for me to really understand this whole concept. And now I'm like, just throw me a challenge and I'd like to see what's in front of me, right? I love challenges.
Oh, I love this. There were some really great insights in what you've just shared. I love that piece even around, when something happens, it's not always, the sign to push through, but it's more of a signal saying knowing when to pivot. And I love that because so many times we use so much energy and effort to push things through, and that's not actually what's meant to happen. And there, oftentimes these opportunities saying, wait a minute, there's probably an easier, more strategic, or more effective way of doing something that may not quite be what I originally thought. But there's got to be another alternative, and trying to push through doesn't always work. And I think my favorite part of your share really is hard work doesn't always just speak for itself. And so many of us believe, okay, if I work hard enough, the results will speak for themselves and I will be able to move through in my career. And the reality is, if we don't speak for our work in certain situations, even though our work, is of the highest excellence that we've attempted to create, I'm sure there's always room for improvement, etc. And it's not to negate what our colleagues are creating, or even competitors are creating. But there is something about standing behind our work and vocalizing, the value that it creates or certain opportunities or going after them. Knowing when to speak up, I think, is really powerful. And a lot of people, feel a certain sense of shyness or don't take those opportunities.
But that's very true. And I don't know if it's a blessing or the opposite of that, but in every workplace, I deal with a difficult coworker. And even though I have these phases of initial frustration, eventually I try to look at the lessons that I can learn from that. And
Right.
that is how I really learned to speak up.
Mm.
Until then, my work just spoke for itself, and I used to go on with my day. But once you encounter such people at work, it's really important for you to speak up and talk about what you've done, because two levels up, leadership team doesn't have an insight on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And also, there are some really wonderful managers that I worked under who were very supportive, and they were key in my career taking a turn for the good, right? Even though I had to come out of my comfort zone and pick up something new to me. So I just cannot forget such people in my career as well. Yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks to those managers.
I love that. I think that you're so right. We wouldn't be who we are today if it wasn't for the key people and mentors and support that have come along our way in our journey. And I love that twist around, even challenging colleagues, because everyone listening to this recording has experiences at least once or multiple times in a career we're thinking, ooh, this is a challenging dynamic. This is a challenging relationships in my professional life. And it may be, just not quite the right combination of two individuals in terms of personality and type and work ethic or strategy, or it may be someone that we just simply just don't drive with. And oftentimes we don't have the luxury and privilege of deciding, this is the team that I get to work with, and put, my best friends on the team, and it's a team of, but there's beauty and there's a gift in those that are challenging, because we learn so much about ourselves and about others, and we grow through these opportunities, whether it is to take a pivot, change teams, challenge, or learn to adjust. How can we actually work together? There has to be some kind of a way.
That's true. I'd like to share something there, Dunya.
Or
When I was working at Chase, I didn't have kids back then, so career was everything that I had on my mind. I joined Chase as a business analyst. I worked for a year, and unfortunately, we had this wave of layoffs where we lost our contractor who was specifically working on accessibility testing. So, just to give you an idea of what accessibility testing is, it's like people with physical challenges, disabilities. How do they, interact with a website? And Chase being, a big uh, banking industry, it was very important for us to build a website that is accessible by everyone. So we lost the accessibility tester, and my manager just stepped up. He came to my desk and he was like, I think you can, pick this up. And I was like, no, I don't know what she did all this time, and I don't know what accessibility testing is. All I know is talk to the stakeholders and, just give my requirements, right? And he showed so much trust in me. He said, I'll give you 6 months of time. I'm not giving you any business analysis work. Just focus on learning about accessibility testing. Come back after 6 months. If you still feel the same way that you can't continue with accessibility testing, with supporting the team, I'm fine with giving you back your business analysis.
Wow.
I took that as a challenge, and after 6 months, I went on to lead accessibility testers for 5 teams.
Incredible.
And not just it's not about the title or the promotion there, Dunya, but learning about accessibility testing just opened up a different mindset, right? I until then, all I could think of, like, oh, everyone can use a keyboard and a mouse, and we can just interact. But I didn't realize that there was a percentage of customers who had physical disabilities and couldn't really use a keyboard, but they still used a website in their day-to-day life. And how they did that was amazing, right? And then post that, I can never look at websites the same way, never look at everything else the same way. And so, that also reinforced something in me, that just break out of your comfort zone and you'll see a whole different world.
Oh, I love this story so much for so many reasons, so many reasons. I love that piece around break out of your comfort zone to be able to see the world a whole different way. I think there's something so potent in that and saying yes to opportunity. So what I love in the story that you share, there are so many layers to it, right? Breaking out of the comfort zone, saying yes to opportunities, learning to see the world in a whole different way, and you have no idea what's on the other side of your comfort zone, right? Then there's the
Exactly.
piece around having great leadership, a manager that totally believes in you and says, "Hey, I will hold off on all this other work. I'm going to trust you fully to do this." And it without, taking anything away from you in the sense where this will be here when that time frame is done, but I believe in you so much that I want you to go into this exploration, and I can see something in you that you may not be able to see in yourself. And then what I love about this story is also, accessibility is something that's actually not talked about. And, unless you have done a project in accessibility, like I am blessed, I have a friend that is an advocate for accessibility in the States. And no, none of my friends that are very able are aware really of this world until
Right.
you come across it. And then you're thinking, wait a minute. And then you start to see everything differently. You think, wait a minute, a disabled person wouldn't be able to enjoy this experience or even come into this restaurant or use this website. And then you start to see things through this lens of awareness that the average person doesn't have because of this incredible experience you've had.
Right. And also, aren't you grateful
Oh, yeah.
that you're
Biggest
able to use everything?
totally. And that
Yes.
we don't have this barrier of entry. Oh, that was and
Right.
I love this PLA podcast because I'm like those listening, like I've gotten to know Priyanka on such a beautiful and deep level, and I never knew this story. And I love this. Makes me love you 10 times more, Pri.
Yeah, thank you, Dunya. So up until my job at Chase, I had around 8 years of business analysis experience. And then I picked up accessibility testing for, I think, 2 years or so.
Wow.
And that accessibility testing role gave me so much exposure to the CEO level. I mean, like two, 3 levels above to the C level executives. And my promotion was purely based on my accessibility testing role.
Oh,
And I received the news of my promotion while I was out on a maternity leave. I was so proud of myself and so grateful for having a leadership team who supported me. Um, so I can never forget that leader. I always try to be, that kind of a leader who tries to not just, show themselves up, but also pick your peers up, right? So,
oh,
yeah.
that was such a beautiful story. Oh, I loved it. And like and I love that this project got you visibility. Like this is there was a there's such beauty in that of a project that brings so much value to the general population, brings so much value to actually a minority within the general population that oftentimes gets forgotten. Oh, and it's amazing. It's like, yeah, incredible. Wow. Okay, so my next question is around, the change in the world of technology that we're seeing, no matter who you are and no matter what industry you're in, and is the big question around AI. So I'd love to know, Priyanka, what is your take on, this new wave and this new, use of this tool? Yeah.
I love AI. Yeah.
Tell me.
I use it every day, almost every hour. It's kind of like part of my everyday life now, not just professionally. I use it for work purposes to, whenever I feel overwhelmed at work, I use it. I use it to think with me. I don't use AI to think for me, right? There's a difference there. And it helps me save time, think from a different angle,
Mm.
and just a simple task of organizing my thoughts whenever I feel overwhelmed. um, just on a personal level, how I use AI, here's an example. Our older sorry, the younger one, right? The older one is so easy to manage. Dunya, now I realize, after having the second kid, potty training was done in 1 week with the older one. With the younger one, I started back in August, and I was so frustrated back in December, right? It took almost 4 months, and then I was like, why is he having accidents all the time? Why is he just not communicating? And I thought it would be done in like 10 days, but why is it taking me 4 months? And I just opened ChatGPT and I explained my situation. This is very frustrating. It's been 4 months. He just doesn't tell me. It's like, talking to a friend and, just sharing, right? And then I'm like, just just tell me what I'm doing wrong, or give me some suggestions on how I can help him in this journey. And I literally treat it as a problem and try to debug it
Wow.
using ChatGPT and ask it for ideas so I can, try different approaches. Um, that is actually trying to, that is, I think, paying off, because since yesterday we didn't have any accidents, touch wood. So, so I feel like if you use it intentionally, AI
Yes.
is really powerful. And
Mm.
it's not a shortcut to any, it's not going to replace us by any means, is how I feel. You just use it as a tool to save time. um, I think the older one is going to go to kindergarten in August, and I was trying to come up, since we are in IT and it's a very demanding life and job with two toddlers. I was asking ChatGPT for, hey, my kid is going to kindergarten. I need to pack his lunchbox now, because until now I have the comfort of sending him to a daycare and they plan all the meals. I didn't have to plan anything except for dinners. So I just asked it, and I now have a PDF generated for the full month with all the meals generated
Wow.
in 5 minutes. I don't even have to think or do anything. So I think AI is wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the personal and professional applications, and I love the quote that you shared. It doesn't think for me, it thinks with me. And being that support, seeing things from a different perspective, give me extra tools or ideas, but the reality is I'm presenting it my problem, my situation, my opportunity to debug this experience, and then and then seeing it say, "Oh, wait a minute," and it's stretching me to think in other ways. I love this. And the reality is being, women with demanding careers, we are also managing families and responsibilities at home. And so having this extra teammate in being able to help us solve these solutions, so helpful.
That's a perfect word, a teammate. Yes, I should call that. I should call ChatGPT my teammate from now.
I lo- I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, teammate. This is my problem to debunk for today. Oh,
Yeah.
Pri, it's always an absolute treat to talk to you. And I'd love to know, I've actually never asked you this question, but it's my favorite question to ask on the PLA podcast is, what is the legacy and impact you're looking forward to still leave behind in the world?
I just love the question, Dunya, because I think about this all the time. Right now that I have kids, I have a career.
Yeah.
For me, a legacy is not about big titles or recognition at work or at home. It's much more. It's an impact that I leave at a human level, right? At home, that means giving my kids an upbringing um, such a way that they turn out to be kind,
Hmm.
thoughtful human beings who are aware of their surroundings and people, right? And beyond that, I'm really drawn to helping people. And I'll give you an example of that. There's this wonderful teacher at our kids' daycare who is incredibly hardworking, right? And she is struggling to earn enough. You know how the daycare jobs are. I feel like they deserve more than an IT, person, but that's a topic for another day. But when
That's
I
for
look at
episode
her,
2.
right, but when I look at her every day, I don't look at her current role, that is a babysitter or a daycare teacher. I see her potential,
Mm.
right? I think about how teaching her some basic technical skills
Yeah.
or providing her the right kind of training can just change her career, which in turn helps provide for her family better, right? And I feel like everyone has that potential to learn and
Mm.
grow. It's just that providing them with the right resource is key.
Yeah.
So if I can help people see what's possible for themselves, then or even, give them that training, I think that's the kind of legacy that really matters to me. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
um, yeah. And I try for my kids to think through that lens. I try, especially the older one, since he now understands what we are telling. I always try to pivot him in such a way that, hey, your little brother needs help. Can you go help him, instead of me intervening and doing everything myself? And I'm really proud of how he's turning out to be. Yeah, this morning we had a cute little moment at home where he was helping his brother. We have like a big snowstorm, and he got himself ready, everything like socks put on, shoes put on, and he was waiting for, hey Tamo, I'm waiting for you with your shoes and your jacket. You need everything on. And see, yeah, that's the kind of upbringing
Oh, beautiful.
that I want to see for myself.
Mm. I love this theme that shares itself between, and it's subtle, but it's very present, between you supporting this daycare practitioner in how can I provide her skills and tools that allow her to be even more independent and resourceful so she can capitalize on what she already has without without her realizing that that's all already there within her. And then this almost translation in a very similar way to the relationship to the kids at home. You know, the
Mm.
eldest one realizing, wait a minute, I have this sense of independence and understanding where I can now go and support someone else. And so it's just like, I love this ability to give back to people in a way that continuously creates this chain of giving back and giving to the next. It's powerful, and it's very demonstrative of the heart you have and the values you have and this incredible awareness of the impact you bring, or that your intention of bringing such genuine caring impact to the spaces you enter.
Yeah, thank you, Dunya. I just wish we had more people like that around us to pick us up sometimes, when you feel you need an extra set of hands or, just emotional support. But I shouldn't be complaining because I have a really supportive husband at home. Uh, he has been there from day one, never said no to anything that I wanted to try. Always supportive, very blessed to have such a loving husband and wonderful kids.
That's incredible. It's so beautiful. And it brings up a couple things. It's like even with all this support, there's still the experience of being human and it can be tough at times. And just having, places and resources and people, whether they're within our family and home or at work or other experiences like PLA, whatever that might be for the person watching, it's so important to have to be able to support us along this journey. And then when we are blessed to have that support, how can we go out and support someone who may be in need of that?
That's true. Like Momsy says, leaders make more leaders. I really love mm, the proximity of our PLA community and everything that we learn from their shares, right? Everything from parenting tips until our career tips. Social and I feel very blessed to have found such a community at a young age, when compared to the others in the group. We can definitely see that edge. Um, yeah, more than I can say, we learn everything about career tips and tricks there, and also parenting tips. I used to be very frustrated, with all the overwhelming things that goes around with, having young kids at home and they're demanding full-time jobs and um, but the way the other parents share in our community, it just changed my perspective. And now I start to enjoy every second with them, right? I just look at the brighter side and the time is not going to come back. They're going to only, grow old and all these cute little moments will be forgotten so easily. And yeah, I'm just not ready for that yet.
You're cherishing them. I think that
Yeah,
that's so powerful.
yeah,
And
very grateful for everything, everyone around us.
oh, it's amazing. And we are grateful for you. You bring such a light, and Sushil too. It's a privilege really to have you in the PLA community, truly.
Yeah, we have wonderful mentors, Dunya. Right from Vamsi, Venkat, and you. I got to share a lot of my personal stuff with you, and I really, really enjoyed um, the 1 hour time that I got to spend with you during dinner in September, and I'm really looking forward to more one-on-one sessions with you.
Absolutely. So precious.
Yeah.
It's a gift to spend time together, truly, and dive into, the nuances of the human experience and our growth in life and the process of transformation, which is oftentimes uncomfortable. And it's just and part of the process.
Yes. Mm,
I wanted to
totally
take
agree.
Yeah, I want to take a moment for anyone that is curious about PLA and has never heard of PLA and just happens to stumble on this episode as your very first. I'd love to put out a QR code. This is the free workshop that the PLA community hosts. It's incredible. Even if you never hear of PLA again, I recommend that everyone come and attend at least one of these because you will be blown away by the tools, tips, and tricks you can implement during the workshop timeframe. And you'll actually be able to get results during the workshop, which is mind blowing in all of these kinds of trainings. I've attended so many different types over the years. And really, this has been a true gem to be a part of, to witness, to also be able to enjoy myself. So I always recommend that someone attends one of these. Remember, even if you never hear of PLA again, this is a must go to. So I always recommend it at the end of our episodes. Priya, I wanted to just really thank you for your time. And it's been a beautiful, heartfelt conversation. It's always a treat to have you.
Thank you, Dunya. And one thing that I'd like to leave here, we are so busy running behind goals, chasing them today, that most of us are doing better than we think. We
Oof.
just don't stop to notice it.
Mm.
So keep going. You'll connect the dots later, but also take some time to recognize how far you've come. That is really important for you to keep going.
Oh, that's such a beautiful way to end the podcast. I love it.
I just I was just thinking about it this morning and wanted to share that to everyone because it's really important for us to pause and reflect at every stage of life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Priyanka. That was amazing. Such a beautiful way to wrap a bow around this incredible episode. Really. And
Thank you
looking
so
forward
much.
to having you on. Yeah, we'll have to have you on that podcast again for sure.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you as always.
And have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the PLA podcast.